All right, everybody, welcome to Woo Wednesday. We're back for another week. It is May, so we are in the rewilding journey. And so this week we are looking at, sorry, let me get my notes. Okay, I'm back. This week we are looking into the shedding the parts of ourselves that have become tame, that have become conditioned, that are just not aligning with who we are and who we want to be. So we are going to take some sacred space to pause, to breathe, to do a guided meditation so that we can explore the unseen and get back to who we are at our core. If you're new here, I'm Opal. I'm a spiritual awakening and integration guide, and I help women shed what doesn't fit and what never fit, reclaim what's theirs in their hearts and in the lives that they want that are fulfilling and peaceful, and to flow forward in life feeling free and rooted and real. Because so many aspects of our lives just don't feel that way. So today, I want to root down into this concept of the shedding of these tamed versions of ourselves. And when I sat down to think about this theme, and I always look for my own stories that I can connect to these themes to make them relatable, to make them real, because something I noticed in the healing world is a lot of times we talk about concepts, but there's no real tangible reality to some of them. And for me, my power has always come in making things very relatable and very real and being vulnerable and showing that vulnerability isn't a weakness. It is something that connects us. So today I want to share kind of where my journey began with this shedding of these tamed versions of myself. So back in prior to 2018, if you would have talked to me and asked me if I ever wanted kids, my response would have been a very vehement no. I'm going to always be the cool aunt. I'm not having kids. I was very convinced I was going to climb the corporate ladder, and where I worked, I was very rooted in that life and that version of myself. And then in 2018, I am on my birthday. My brother called me very late in the day to wish me happy birthday. And he made a comment, and I'll never forget the comment. He said, I made a comment to him that I would never be the one to make him an uncle. That if we were going to ever have that type of family dynamic, it was never going to be me having the kids. I was going to be the cool aunt, and it would be someone else making him an uncle and my sister an aunt. And for whatever reason, that statement, I'm never going to make you the uncle. It's as if someone took a box that said motherhood on it and set this box in front of me. And I didn't even know there was a box. Prior to that moment, I didn't even know a box existed. And I'm looking at, proverbially in my mind's eye, I'm looking at this box going, what the fuck is this? Where did this come from? I didn't even know this was a thing. And so for about a week, I spent, if you could imagine somebody putting a box like a shoebox with a lid that opens, it would be like I would take these little peeks inside going, what's that? Okay, what's this? That's a thing? And it just it kept going and kept going. And the more I opened the lid, the longer I left the lid open. And I finally came to this realization that this idea of parenthood, this idea of being a mother, this idea of, cool aunt life, living corporate life, being a strong, independent woman, and the belief I had about who I was in that role. And then this very curious box of motherhood, I realized that I was carrying this voice, this opinion, these beliefs, and they weren't even mine. And for the first time, I realized that this, I'm never going to be a mom, that wasn't even mine. It didn't align. Because if I look at my life, I've been parenting for as long as I can remember. I was 6 when my brother was born, and I've been a figure of parenting since at least then. And I've always been very good at it. I remember many times growing up, my dad would tell me, "You'll make a really good mom someday because you're so good with your brother. You're so patient, and you know exactly how to manage and navigate these moments, and you're so attentive." And I never heard those words in this journey to motherhood. I never heard those words until recently, when I started to really dive into where did this idea and this concept of motherhood come from. And I started to look at society, and I started to hear comments like, "Oh, kids are so expensive," and "Oh, they drain you, and you're always so exhausted," and like all the aspects of parenting and the aspects of motherhood that are very real and they're very valid. But I didn't grow up in an environment where that was talked about positively. What my parents wanted for me was to be independent, was to be successful, and to chase my dreams, and to be able to travel when I want to travel and do those things. And while that meant well, there was an aspect of that my internal dialogue said, "Oh, it's not safe to be a parent. It's not part of the vision of society that you are a part of. They don't want that for you." And so I never entertained it. And so when I sat with that and I really got down to the core of parenthood, I decided, like, you know what? Yeah, I think this is something I want. I think this is something I would be really good at. And I think this is something that would really fulfill me and bring me a sense of direction and fulfillment and connection. And so I had a conversation with my husband, and I was like, the entire time you've known me, I've been against this, but this box just got placed in front of me, and I have been ruminating on it for a week. And I think it's something that I want. And that conversation went very different than I expected. I expected him to say no because he had another daughter at the time, and he was very like, "No, I don't want to be a dad again. Like, I'm good." And he surprised me with "You know what, if that's what you want, let's figure it out." And I remember that moment like, "Oh, okay, I fully expected to be met with a no." And I fully expected to have to, like, you know, remedy this, like, my brain thought it was going to go a different way. So when it was that simple, my nervous system was like, "Wait a minute, it's not supposed to be this easy." But like a couple weeks later, we made the decision that it was something we were going to try. And if it happened, it happened. If it didn't, it didn't. And I had my IUD removed in November. I was pregnant by March, and I had Runa the following November. So I had a year from the moment a year and like 3 weeks from the moment the box was placed in front of me to the moment I had Runa was a year and 3 weeks. And that journey started in 2018, and she came earthside in 2019. And I have been unpacking that identity and rewriting who I am at my core around that concept of being a mother, and accepting some things that I've been denying, and really rooting in my place in this identity ever since. So for 6 years, a little over 6 years, I have been on this journey of redefining who I am with that at my core. It doesn't make me who I am, but it is a very big aspect of who I am. And shedding that identity for me in my journey was the first time I, with intention and with full awareness and presence, made a decision that went against everything that was at the core of my belief system at the time. And I'm so grateful for that, because my life is nothing what I ever anticipated, nothing what I could have ever even imagined it would be, in such a good way. You know, there are bad moments, don't get me wrong, but it's allowed me to go deeper and deeper and more expansive in my own journey with my own wounding and my own healing with these aspects. And it's been a really powerful thing that I think when we sit down with these false narratives and these false identities, if we can really get rooted into where they come from, if it's someone else's voice, if it's truly ours, and where does it come from? What is the belief? Where did that belief get built? Because believe it or not, our belief system and what you carry today was constructed in the first 7 years of your life. Most of our belief systems and how we function in our everyday lives as adults was created by other people and the environment around us and what we learned and observed and felt in the first 7 years of life. So I would argue that most of us have beliefs that aren't rooted in anything that we consciously chose. It was chosen for us and put in front of us by those around us, whether they knew it or not. And so today we're going to take a little journey inward to identify if there's anything at the surface right now that doesn't align, that is asking to be released, that is asking to say, you know what, this is not who we are or who we want to be. And it's okay to give that up. It's okay to shed that layer of skin. So if it's like an onion, or think of it like a snake, snakes get bigger and more expansive by shedding their skins. Onions, you peel layer after layer after layer, and sometimes those layers are thick and sometimes they're really thin. So this is just an invitation to go a little bit deeper, to take in another layer of who you are and where you are so that you can move forward. If you're joining us live, please tell me where you're from. Say hi in the chat if you have access to that. If you're watching on a replay, go ahead and use the comment field to share with me any insights that you have. You can do that in the chat as well. I am going to monitor that. If you watch this on the replay and it resonates, or you think of somebody, share it with them, because if they came to mind, there's a reason. Share it with them. All right, so let's dive into today's meditation. And in order to do that, go ahead and set your space in a comfortable way. If you need to lay down, if you want to sit up, use an eye mask, whatever that looks like for you. You want to be comfortable. You want to feel like that you can relax. So if you have anything burning, like candles, and those might cause you worry or discomfort, go ahead and blow them out. You can always relight them when we're done. Excuse me. If you're in a public place or at work, or if other people are in the house, just let them know that you're going to take the next 10 to 15 minutes to ground yourself and to meditate and ask for that space and that privacy. Obviously, if those interruptions happen, flow with it. It's okay. It's not a big deal. I've said this in my lives before, but I am a stay-at-home mom. Runa is in the other room. She's doing some education material right now, but she's 5.5. She may come in and need something. And so if that happens, I will roll with that as gracefully as I can. But she's usually pretty good about giving me the space to serve you guys at this time. So go ahead and take a few minutes, get some water, get comfy, and we will get started in just a second. All right, to get started, I always like to have you just take a moment to look around the room, look behind you, and all you're doing is just taking inventory of what you see, what you feel, what you hear, just making sure, like I have some incense going right here. I want to make sure it's out of the way so I don't hit it unintentionally or have it fall over. So I'm going to be mindful of that. Otherwise, just look around and just kind of note what you see. And what this does is this tells your nervous system that you don't need to be visually scanning for threats, especially if you have the ability to close the door. Once you do that assessment, your nervous system will put itself in a position to be able to open and receive and rest. So this is a really good exercise when you're at home, anywhere you're at. Unless it's obviously out in a public setting, you won't be able to maintain the structure of that exercise. But for the majority, once you do that scan, your system's going to go, okay, there's no lions or anything that are trying to eat me right now. So I am safe and I can relax. This is a good thing to do if you ever feel your system feeling activated. So we're going to go ahead and just take a moment to look around and observe what you can see and just make note of it. If you need to change something, now is a good time to do that. Next, I want to invite you to close down your eyes and just activate your senses. Notice anything that you smell, allowing any noises you hear to take you deeper into your inner world. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin or the feeling of your clothes on your skin. And then bring your awareness to your breath. Become the observer and the witness. Watch as your body expands and contracts with each inhale and exhale. Notice where your breath meets your heartbeat. Notice the shape and the speed of your breath and where it lands in your body. Just like we watch leaves dancing in the wind, allow that life force energy to dance through your being and just observe. There's no need to control, no need to change. Just a moment to observe and be. Now I invite you to bring some intention to your breath. Take the inhale through the nose for a count of 4, and then exhale through the mouth for the count of 6. You can do that on your own. Letting each inhale expand the lungs, bringing in a golden life force that nourishes and supports you. And allowing each exhale, that full 6 counts, to take out any darkness, any heaviness, anything that feels sticky or unusable, letting it come up and out of the body through the breath, sending it up into the cosmos or down into Mother Earth, where it can be purified and cleansed for your highest and best. Keep with that 4 count inhale through the nose, and that 6 count exhale through the mouth. mind's eye or with a sense of feeling or knowing, I want you to imagine that you are standing in a field of flowers. Beautiful springtime flowers surround you. There's a gentle breeze. The sun is shining high above you. And before you, there is a path that weaves through the flowers, a labyrinth of sorts. Looking down, you see that you're barefoot, and there's a soft, lush greenery beneath your feet, making it comfortable and inviting to walk forward. With each step, you ground yourself and root yourself to the earth, claiming your space and your existence. She honors each step and solidifies and verifies that existence by nourishing you with each step you take. As you walk this path, you get a sense that you're not alone. And before you, you have a friend that joins you. This could be a spirit guide, an animal, an energy, a loved one in spirit, an ancestor, or you may just sense that something or someone is there. They feel familiar, and they come to greet you, to walk beside you as you travel this path in the flowers. Firmly rooted to Mother Earth and supported by this friend and guide that's joined you. The path you've been walking starts to open up to a clearing. In the center of this clearing, there is either a fire or a pond. There is no right or wrong way. However it presents to you is exactly the way it's meant for you. The fire or the water is here to help you cleanse and release this aspect of yourself that has been tamed for far too long. Beside the fire or the pond, there is a bench. You and your guide sit together on this bench and look into the fire or the pond. As you gaze before you, a version of yourself that is ready to be seen appears. How old are you? What are you wearing? What do you look like? Are you expressive? Are you closed off? What is your overall energy? Notice any identities or labels that this version of yourself wears. Especially if they feel heavy. I want you to gather those identities and labels as if they were a garment or a symbol. They don't take away from your being. They simply become removed from your being, making you lighter, less weighed down, less judged, less shamed. Gather what no longer fits and hold them in your hand. It is not your fault that these are the things that tamed you. These are the things that you absorbed and used to keep yourself safe, to be seen in the environment that didn't have the capacity to see you beyond these limits. They kept you safe, and for that we are deeply grateful for these aspects of that identity. As you share gratitude for the safety that these items that you've collected gave you, a warm glowing light comes from your heart space and shines into these items, connecting you with love and gratitude. Now that we've collected these aspects of ourselves that are not who we really are, it's time to truly let them go. You may offer them to your guide to place in the flame or the water. You may place them yourself, or if it feels more appropriate, you may offer them to Mother Earth. If it feels right to offer them to Mother Earth, imagine a golden shovel appearing to your left and simply dig a hole using the shovel. Place the item in the ground and cover it up using your hands. If giving it to the violet flame, allow it to be cleansed and burned away. And imagine that with each spark of the flame and each rise of smoke, you get lighter and more free of that tamed version of yourself. If offering it to the water, allow it to be cleansed purified, and consumed by that water. As you release these tamed aspects of yourself, place a hand on your heart and breathe in this release. The gratitude and the love, for what once was but no longer needs to be. With these items released, I want you to invite the fully seen version of you to step closer and let them merge with you. Let them become you. Lighter, no longer weighed down by these aspects that were not suiting them. Breathe her in and anchor her presence in your heart, in your womb, in your mind's eye. She is you. You are her. It is safe to release the things that hold you back. It is safe to become someone different. It is safe to reclaim who you always were. You are supported by Mother Earth, by the guide that's with you today, and by this community. As we make our way back to your physical reality, your guide has a gift for you. This is something that will help you as you navigate the invitations and opportunities that will come in the next days and weeks to shed these aspects of yourself in your physical reality. Take this gift and place it in your heart and receive it, and know that even if it doesn't make sense now, it will when the time is right. With your guide, you stand from your bench and make your way back down the path in the meadow of flowers, breathing in their scent, taking in their beauty, letting each step nourish you from the earth herself. As you reach the point where you began, you say goodbye to your guide and your friend that joined you on this journey. You thank them. And they remind you that they're always here and you can return to this space anytime you need to. It's time to come back to your body. And we start by bringing your senses back online. Feel the temperature of the air on your skin. Letting any noises you hear bring you back to this physical place and time. You feel gravity pulling your body down in your seat or where you're laying. You begin to invite gentle movement by wiggling or rolling your wrists, your fingers and toes. Maybe stretching a little. And finally, we anchor this journey and this experience into our body with 3 deep breaths. In through the nose for the count of 4, holding gently at the bottom of that inhale, letting it expand and releasing for 6 counts. We'll do 3 breaths together. Go ahead and inhale, hold, and exhale. Go ahead and inhale, hold, and exhale. And last one, inhale, hold, and exhale, letting it all go. When you're ready, you can go ahead and return to your space by opening your eyes. Take a moment to journal or reflect. If you feel comfortable, you can share any aspects of your journey in the comments or the chat. You can also join us on Facebook and put your comments there. Something I wanted to share as we gently come back out of this is that when we shed these layers of ourselves, these tamed versions, the aspects of our conditioning, it isn't destruction. It's a release. It's like when you get a new job and that new job comes with a new outfit. We're letting go of this old outfit and we're putting on a new one. And this happens a lot of times. Sometimes it happens very naturally and we don't even notice it. And other times we have to be very intentional with it because it changes who we are, what we think at our core. But really, we're not changing who we are at our core. We're allowing who we are at our core to be seen. And much like when I changed who I was at my core, not changed, let me rephrase that. When I accepted who I was at my core and I let her come out by accepting that motherhood was actually something I wanted, it created this crack in my armor that allowed more of me to eventually start coming out. And now I'm at the point where not all aspects of who I am are this fully authentic version of me. I do still have programming and I do, just like everybody, but more of me that shows up in this space or in my day-to-day life is authentic now. I'm less a version of my conditioning and I'm more who I am in here. And I don't have to fight to let her be seen because I see her in myself. I don't need that external validation anymore. When we've outgrown roles that we never choose with intention, we have to shed them eventually. Otherwise, we end up miserable. We end up burnout. We end up having these conversations with people that we just question, why is it they don't see me? Why do I have to keep having this same conversation over and over again? And it's because we have to see ourselves first. We have to fully align with what's in here and bring it out for the world to see. And some people aren't going to like that. They're going to be like, oh, you've changed. You're right, I have. But I've changed to align with who I am in my heart and who I am at the core of my being. So if you've ever said, I'm the responsible one, Lord, I wore that one real for a long time, or I'm not meant to be a mom, or, I have to take care of all these things, those very well may not be your words. And this is an invitation and an opportunity to really get to the core of those things. You'll feel it. When you say something, you'll feel it and go, that shifted something. And I don't think that's really mine. This is a common question I ask people in integration sessions, or even in release and reclaim sessions. When we get into deeper topics, I ask them, they'll make a comment, and I'll ask them, whose voice is that? If you had to give that voice a physical body, whose voice is it? And sometimes they're like, oh, that was my mom's voice, or oh, that was my sister's voice, or oh, that was my childhood friend's voice, or whatever. And if you can identify that it's not coming from here, it's coming from someone or something else, that's the piece of this that you need to start working on. So this is the moment to start observing, becoming the kind witness, and start inventorying. Where do I say things that I'm like, that doesn't really align? Where am I making comments that make me feel weird? Like, where did that even come from? Or you say something one day and it catches you and you're like, that ain't it. Something went wrong. Please try again. Oops, my phone's being weird. So just remember that the biggest transformations aren't always loud and have the boom of a firework. A lot of times they're soft and they're gentle, and they just have a whisper that says, no, that's not right. There's no more. I'm not doing this anymore. So as we bring today's session to a close and we sit in the energy of shedding the tamed version of ourselves, I want to leave you with a couple of reflections, and we're really just one. And that's, what is something that you've always said about yourself that you're starting to question? What is something you've always said about yourself or thought that you're starting to question? And for me, that biggest moment was when I always thought I would never be a mom. And then that box got placed in front of me, and lo and behold, there I was sitting inside that box. And that changed my life in all the best ways. Literally, it changed my life. So I invite you to journal on that question. Share in the chat or the comments if you feel comfortable. If you want to email me your questions or your reflections, if that feels a little safer, you can get a hold of me at theopalcrow@gmail.com. You can visit us on Facebook. And if you need to, come back to this replay as many times as you need to go through this meditation, to revisit those versions of yourself. You may notice that if something didn't come through very clearly this time, you may get clarity a few days from now. If you do this again, it may change. The information that comes through will come through the way that the version of you showing up in this moment can understand and receive that information. So day to day, hour to hour, we're different people. And so your experience in this space is going to be different each time you come back. So feel free to watch this again and again. Share with your friends. Make sure you subscribe and follow. And if you're not on my email list, I highly recommend you do that. I am going to start offering anybody that is already on my list, I'll be sending it out to them. But anybody that's new to my email list, you'll be getting 3 phases of awakening, and where most people are struggling and getting it not wrong, but where they're having a challenge with the awakening process. So if that's of something that is interesting to you, make sure you're on my list. Otherwise, that is all I have for you. We'll be back same time on Wednesday, noon Eastern time next week for week 3 of the Rewilding for the month of May. And that is all I have. I'm really grateful I have the opportunity to sit in this space with you. And I look forward to working with you or connecting with you in the future. Illumination and love. Have a good day.